Hello students, we are again here with our next video in continuation to the chapter crop production and management. In the previous classes, we have done the preparation of soil, sowing, application of manure and fertilizers and irrigation. In this class, I'll be taking the next topic, which is protecting from weeds and pests. Protection from weeds and pests. Now, first of all, we should know what is a weed. As we know, when the crop crops, in addition to that crop, there are some unnecessary plants, or there is growth of some unwanted plants along with the crop. So those plants are known as weeds. So we are required to protect our crop from those type of plants, and we take certain measures to protect our hard work or to protect our crop. So what are those methods, and first of all, why the need of weeding or why the need of weed management is there? Crop protection is the practice of protecting the crop yields from different agents including pests, weeds and plant diseases, and of course other organisms that cause damage to the agricultural crops. Pest means the insects or the animals which can harm the crop. So what is the need of weed management? Weeds are unwanted plants grown along with the crops. These undesirable plants consume the nutrients, sunlight, water and other resources from the crops and affect their growth, which results in the undernourished of crops and decreases the yields. Now, what are the disadvantages of weeds? Those weeds, of course, they are the plants. They also require sunlight. They also require nutrients. They require water and other things. So where they will take these things from? They will take, or they will share these nutrients, water, etc. from the uh, crop which is grown in the field. So that means they take their share and affect the overall production of the crop. The weeds harbor pest. Harbor means to give shelter. Now these type of weeds or the unwanted plants, they give shelter to the harmful insects, and that's why they destroy the crops. Some weeds produce toxic substances that may be poisonous for animals as well as for human beings. So weeds may be toxic, so their removal is must. So in this way, we can say that weeding is the process of controlling or removing the growth of weeds. There are various methods of weeding. The best time to remove weeds is before they produce flowers and seeds. Why the best time to remove weeds is before they produce flowers and seeds? Because if they produce flowers and seeds, then one thing, they will be attached more firmly to the ground, and secondly their number will increase. So they should be removed before the production of flowers and seeds. The type of weeds may vary from field to field and crop to crop, and the most importantly from season to season. Now we can do the weeding, that is the removal of unwanted plants, in three ways, mainly in three ways. One is mechanical method, second is chemical method, and third is biological method. Now we will be discussing all the three methods in detail. The very first is mechanical method. Mechanical means by hand, by using our hands or with the help of machines. So I am taking firstly the mechanical method. Weeds may be pulled out by hand or through plowing. We have studied plowing. They can also be removed by using tractor driven seed drill, hoe or harrow. You can see this as instrument. This is known as this tool is known as harrow. The weeds that appear during the growth of plants are removed manually by using a trowel, and in Hindi which is known as khurpi. You must have seen this kind of tool at your home or in your school. So this is known as खुरपी. नॉर्मल जनरल लैंग्वेज में हम इसे खुरपी बोलते हैं. और मोस्टली घरों में ये जो हमारे किचन गार्डन्स होते हैं, दिस टूल इज यूज्ड, and even in large fields this can be used for removal of weeds. So they can be removed with the help of machine or manually. Second is chemical method. As its name suggests that it uses the chemicals. Chemicals are known as weedicides. Okay, so what is done in this method? Weed killing chemicals are sprayed on weeds in the field to destroy or kill them. What do we do in this method? The chemicals, the weed killing chemicals are sprayed on weeds in the field to destroy them. For example, 2,4-D. This is the small form or short form of a chemical, और इसका पूरा नाम है 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. So these type of weedicides are used to kill the weeds in the crop. Weedicides do not affect the main crop, but the farmers should cover their nose and mouth with a piece of cloth during spraying of weedicides with a sprayer, because no doubt they are chemicals, so they can adversely affect the health of human beings. The grains should be washed thoroughly before consumption because weedicides are poisonous. These days, because of the advancement of technology, environment friendly bio-weedicides are being used, which are less harmful, or you can say less poisonous in comparison to other chemical weedicides. The third method of weeding is biological method. In this method, what is done? The insects or some other organisms that consume the specific weed plants are introduced in the crop field. So what do we do in this? Especially the insects or those organisms which eat or consume those weeds are introduced in the crop fields, and they do not destroy the main crop. For example, weeding of prickly pear cactus by using the cochineal insects. So in this method, the main crop is not disturbed, only the organisms or the insects which eat or consume the specific weeds, they are introduced in the main field. Protection from pests and diseases. Now we have discussed, or you can say we have studied the protection from weeds. One was mechanical, one was chemical, and the third was biological. Now but the crop needed to be protected from pests as well as the crop diseases. Now we will discuss this. Pests are organisms that attack and damage crops. They may be rodents. Rodents is another name for rats. They may be insects and many more. These pests can be controlled by pesticides. Again, these are chemicals which kill or remove the pest from the main crop. Pesticides kill the pest and their eggs without damaging the crops. For example, rodenticides and insecticides, and these are the examples which for example BHC, it is known as gamexine, and malathion and dicystone. These are all the examples of chemicals, or you can say the pesticides. Plants are also damaged by diseases caused by certain pathogens like bacteria, fungi and virus. These diseases spread from one plant to another through air, soil or insects. If this spreading occurs at large scale, then huge vegetation can get damaged. So if we do not control these diseases, what will happen? The whole crop can get destroyed or damaged. So it is very much required to protect the crop from these type of diseases. Pathogens, though we will study this word in your chapter microorganisms, But here you should know the meaning of a pathogen. Pathogen means disease causing organism, disease causing microorganism. Some plant diseases are rust and smut of wheat. These are the name of the plant diseases, and these are caused by fungus. Blight of potato, which is caused by which is again caused by fungus, and wilt disease, which is caused by bacteria. So these to remove the diseases, or you can say to uh, control the disease, plant diseases, some bactericides and fungicides are used. These various chemicals get mixed with soil, gets dissolved in water and are absorbed by plants. When we consume them, they enter our bodies and cause diseases. So we should wash vegetables and fruits thoroughly. In your junior classes, from your junior classes, your teacher and your parents always tell you that you should wash your hands, you should wash your the vegetables or fruits that you consume. Why? Because they know that these type of chemicals are uh, introduced in the field during the production of a crop. So when we consume them, they will enter our bodies, and being chemicals, they can harm us. So that's why whenever we consume any vegetable or any fruit, we should wash them properly and thoroughly. Now, when the control of weeds and pests is done, the final, or you can say the next step is, before storage, is harvesting. What is harvesting? The process of cutting and gathering of crop after its maturation is called harvesting. In harvesting, crops are pulled out or cut close to the ground. Harvesting in our country is either done manually with the help of this tool, which is known as sickle. This tool which is used for harvesting is known as sickle, or with a machine called harvester. So now when the crop is matured, we need to cut it and gather it. So that process is known as harvesting. It can be done manually and it can be done with the help of a harvester. We have some harvesting festivals also, like Baisakhi is there, Bihu is there, Pongal is there. So these are all the harvesting festivals which celebrate the hard work of farmers. After the crop is cut, now what is the next step? Threshing. What is threshing? The process of beating out the grains from the harvested crop plants is called threshing. Can you see this picture? Now in this, what is being done? The crops are being beaten with a hard surface. Now what happens in this case? The grains come out from their outer covering, which is called chaff. When we beat hard the crops which are cut from the ground, now when they are beaten hard, what happens? The grains come out from the chaff. This can be done manually by striking the crop against a hard surface or making farm animals trample the crop. How the animals trample the crop? The crop is gathered in a small area and the animals are made to move from them in rounds. Now when they go again and again from the crop, then the grains come out from their outer covering. During threshing, the stems of the crop plants are converted into very small pieces called hay, which is again used as a fodder for animals, which is again used as a food for animals. After threshing, the next part is winnowing. Now what is done in winnowing? The process of separating grain from chaff and hay or husk with the help of wind is called winnowing. This you have studied in your lower or your junior classes also. See, can you see this lady? What is she doing? Now when the with the help of wind, when the grains are made to fall from a height, then what happens? The grain being heavier, they fall straight to the ground, but the hay or the husk which is lighter, it is collected at a distance away from the grains with the help of wind. So this step is known as winnowing. The grains are separated and the husk is separated, right? Again, winnowing can be done with the help of a machine also. This is the winnowing machine. In this you can see the grain in mixed with the husk are put from here, and with the help of wind the husk is collected separately and the grains are taken out. Combine. Now, as its name suggests, it is a combination of processes. This machine actually does three functions, that is cutting, threshing and winnowing. That's why it is known as combine, because it is a combination of three processes. The modern combine harvester, or which is simply known as combine, is a versatile machine designed to efficiently harvest a variety of grain crops. The name derives from its combining three separate harvesting operations. They are cutting, threshing and winnowing. This machine does all the three operations, that is cutting of crops, which is known as harvesting. Then second part is threshing, because that means separating the grains from the stalks. And then winnowing. Winnowing में क्या करते हैं? Separating the grains from the hay or the husk. And these three functions or three operations are done by a single machine, which is known as combine. So in this class we have done two practices. One is protection from weeds and pests, weed management, and second is harvesting. Now only one agricultural practice is left, which is storage, which we will take in our next class. Thank you.